Well, you know what? I haven't done a video like this in a while, and I think it's high time I do. And I decided in my last video I talked about MorgBorg. Talked about what a good game it is, how versatile this game actually is, and really there's a lot of room for interpretation for you to actually flesh out and make the game the way you want to play it. Not the way perhaps the theme of it is. And what I mean by this is varying the game to your own experience. And let's use Dungeons and Dragons as a example. If you look at Dungeons and Dragons, you know you have a basic overall mechanics system that runs the game, but then they have their theme that they have marketed with that game system to you. So what I mean by that are variation of classes that are available to you to give you more in-depth decision about your character, right? Who your character, what it does. Is it a sorcerer? Is it a fighter? Is it the tank for the party that's going to go through and just level everything in its way? Or is it the healer? Or maybe the sneaky thief that has to get past some locked areas. Expertise that maybe the other characters you do not want to exhibit, right? Especially if you're going into a very populated area with a lot of enemies. Last thing you want to do is have your brute bash down the door with the battle axe, alarming all the nearby guards that you're actually burglarizing this property right here. So, yeah. So, anyways, guys, haven't done a video like this in a while, and I decided let's do an example. Let's talk about solo RPG. Let's do a little bit of a historical dive into RPGs, why the system works as well as it does for me, and how the game was originally intended and how I utilize it for solo play. So first and foremost, if you look at the origin of RPGs, which let's go back to the original D&D, and it was chainmail. It was a miniature based game that you would put on the board, and it, as with most war games, if you've ever played them, they're pretty straightforward games. You're going to win, you're going to lose each battle. It's all up to the dice, and you don't know. You're just hoping the dice rolls are going to go in your favor. So, and from that, built from that idea of wargaming, came this other idea, and that was the aspect of what if this particular scenario didn't end here, right? What decisions would the characters make, and how would those decisions lay out a story onto the next scenario encounter, and just so on and so forth. This mixture of this idea of utilizing miniatures and 3D terrain, but having role play ability for your characters to be able to take on their own personas and your decisions, which the cool thing about solo RPG is you have endless possibilities for that potential with this. So, alright, let's jump into this. First thing, that's the little history behind it, right? That's where it started out, and you can look into that. And just look up the original chainmail. You'll see it was a miniature game. Then it became Dungeons and Dragons, where the role-playing aspect was added into it. And through many iterations, editions later on, we have what we have today. And just about every game system out there using this system, a well-balance between miniatures, RPG elements, and NPC interactions, really take your gaming experience to a whole new level. So this, what I have set up on my board, let me get my coffee. drenched napkin off the game board there for a moment. Gotta have my coffee. Okay, so this is the final leg of the adventure that I had written up for the Goblin Hills. So if you remember, I talked about how my characters were traveling in the storm. The storm got so bad that they're following this trail through the forest, and the trees are whipping back and forth and beginning to snap off and fall. So they have this real wicked storm coming in, and they have to find somewhere to take shelter to get out of it. And as the trees are blowing around, because there's such thick cover, it does at that point reveal what looks like this cave off in the distance. Not really too far off in the distance, but it's not right next to the trail either. So they decide to head towards that to get in out of the storm. And after they have been on this little footpath that they discovered, just well-worn little footpath, it has led them to a goblin encampment. And I have already went with 2 game sessions, went through the main trail, and now I'm in the final area of the trail, and that is meeting the end boss. That's going to occupy the area from this marker right here to the cave entrance, right? I don't know what's going on with the cave yet. I haven't even rolled up anything for that, haven't even thought about that. That's the unknown so far. Don't know yet what's going on there. But the boss is going to be within this area right here. Now, it may seem confusing to you, but if you look at my game board, the way I have it set up, I have these markers placed along the trail. Each marker is going to pose another possible threat or something else entirely. Could be a trap, could be anything. I don't know yet. But the cool thing is, by setting it up this way, is that you are actually bringing those encounters in a 3-dimensional area in which you occupy. And the miniature really ties the physical side of gaming, right? This is what sets this apart from electronic gaming, is the fact that you are moving your 3-dimensional character on a board, and you are actually placing 3-dimensional encounters in infinite ways that you can think of possible, with scattered terrain and just some mats and minis. So, food for thought. Anyways, let's get into the solo aspect of this. Let's talk about the solo. I love solo RPG games. And games like this, like MorgBorg, are absolutely just phenomenal for the fact that they've been written so well, so simple, that it actually is a great game for solitaire play, for the fact that you spend more time playing than you do bookkeeping. And I'm going to go through this. Let's go through a couple of encounters. Let's start moving along this trail, see what happens, and advance towards the end goal. Now, one thing I will say, as you can notice, I have a terrain piece here. I have this new terrain piece I painted up, talked about it, and I decided to put this here. This is another encounter area right here to itself. So depending on how these go, I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that out. I mean, there could be enemies at each one of these marker areas. Any one of them, if there is a large force in there, could be alerted and then dispatched out onto the battlefield. You know what I mean? We don't know. We haven't got there. So let's find out. Let's see how it goes. And okay, so first things first, before I jump on into this and really get into the video, if you decide to pick up MorgBorg, I highly suggest you get this. This is the Game Master's screen, and it's going to give you a lot of information you are going to use in the game. The other information you may have to look at, whether it be character specifics, really, this game is so simple, I don't see why you would, because, I mean, you can make of what you want with it. I will just put it to you that way. But anyways, this gives you all your crucial information that you are going to use when you play this game. And what I'm saying is, you really don't have to go back to the supplement books as often to be able to get those stats, those bonuses, whatever. It's all here. It's all right here. Okay, so let's get this set up. Let's get this in the background. There we go. Now I have everything I need to see right here. I can just look right at it and it makes play so much quicker. Okay, so I have Brent Skull Splitter, and that is my sorcerer / adventurer guy right here, and he's pretty wicked. Then I have Elena Daru, who is I'm going to say more of like a cleric, really, is what she is. And that'll be this figure right here. This is cool miniature. I picked this up in a booster pack that I had bought, and I decided, you know what? I could design a character around this miniature right here. And so I decided it was a good time to, put that thought to practice. And I figured I needed a cleric for my group. So I just recently added her from the beginning of this adventure. So she's really new. These other two characters I have, the other one, Lygon Court. And you probably recognize this figurine. This is from the 3rd edition D&D starter kit. And I believe, if I remember correctly, his name was Torig, something like that. But I always thought this is a cool miniature. The guy has a multitude of weapons, as you can see, decent armor. It's just a cool looking mini. So, yeah. He is the tank of the group here. He's a mercenary, and he can do some massive damage. So, now we got that out of the way. Now the thing about my mercenary is he also has a short bow. He's pretty good with a short bow. He has a really decent agility score, so he gets a +2 bonus. So, of course I equipped him with a short bow. So I send him up first. He's going to scout things out, and what I want to do is I'm going to move him up into this area. So I'm going to say 5, 10, 15. Okay, that's going to be about half his movement right there. And I want to see if I can see anything up in this area. I'm getting close to this rocky outcropping here, and I want to see if there's any nasties. Alright, so let's get the dice tray going, and let's grab some percentile. No, I don't need percentile dice. Yes, I do. Because I got to see what are the chances of there being an encounter here. And I'm going to roll my percentile dice. The higher the percentage, the more likely there is an encounter. The lower, the less there is likely to be an encounter. 71%. Okay, so there is an encounter here. Now, what I've done with this game, because in the description of the Goblin, it just gives you a brief description how they use it in their setting. It's pretty dark, if you get wounded by one of these things, you will eventually turn into one of them and join their pack, and the whole world's just this dark, grim thing. So I decided to take mine a step further. Rather than utilizing that, I went off of my own little way with the goblins. And I decided, you know what? If there's the potential for your character to become completely wounded to where they almost die, and now they become one of these creatures, to be just this endless, no information known about this goblin underworld. And I decided, you know what? If there's a goblin underworld, there's got to be a hierarchy, right? There's got to be somebody in command of these rabble of idiots. So I decided, well, let's start with the lower ranks. So the boss at the end of this scenario, his name is Canker Asnold, a goblin chieftain of the Garble tribe, a cutthroat hand of goblin ass. Oh. Sorry, I was writing down my notes here real quick, and I had to look at my handwriting to make sure this is right, and is a cutthroat hand of goblin assholes that love to kill, burn, steal, and torture. And much more perverse than that. Oh. Canker is a ruthless leader known to snap the necks of his comrades for the most petty of infractions. The most recent due to spilling grog on a putrid drink made of crushed, spoiled elderberries on the ground at their last camp about 8 hours ago. A storm has blown in. Canker Asnold orders his gang of goblin warriors to retreat to the inner caves. So the inner caves, and that's obviously what's represented right here, and those are the caves of the Graybill Hills that can be seen. So I went a little step further, I guess. I'm not going to get too much off the beaten path with this, just to give you a little backstory on the end boss encounter. Now, this also gave me the opportunity to make different ranks of goblins, and that's really what I'm trying to get at here. It wouldn't have made much sense for me to explain to you the different ranks of the goblins if you didn't know at least who the leader was, right? So I broke those up into a goblin patrol. Now, they can do a damage of 1d4 plus 1. A goblin archers, and, well, they're a little bit more aggressive, I would say. They got a short bow, and they can do 1d4 plus 2 damage if you are hit. Okay, and a goblin assassin, which I have not encountered these yet. I have wrote them up, but I have yet to encounter one, and I bet it would be pretty dang lethal. But I have to see if it works, to see if it's balanced. And if not, then I'm going to have to change that and make it, or leave it the way it is and just leave it a completely ruthless encounter, right? And the last but not least, the Goblin Idiot. And the Goblin Idiot is pretty just straightforward. He carries a club. He does 1d6 damage. So, of the majority of the goblins that are going to be encountered will be the Goblin Idiot and Goblin Patrols. Now, when you get above 85%, then that's when we're going to encounter the Goblin Assassins. That's when it's going to be a real tough encounter there, because some guys do a lot of freaking damage, but not as much as Canker Asnold. Yeah, Canker Asnold, well, he's got some good armor, so he's got a pretty decent defense rating of 15. A Warhammer, he carries a 1d6 plus 2, and he also has the Shield of Xanthar, which gives him a plus 1 to his defense rating when he uses the shield, which means it takes his defense rating up to a 16. And by defense rating, I mean when you roll a 1d20, that is your target number to hit the opponent. And likewise, when you go to roll your attack, you would look at your strength bonus if you're doing a melee attack, or you would look at your agility bonus for your ranged attack, and you're going to add that to the roll. So that's where your advantage comes in. And what makes it tough is the encounters can have natural shielding abilities that automatically start them out above your baseline attack value, which is 12. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, enough. I've explained about this. Let's see what kind of goblin encounter I have going on. Let's get to that now. So he has moved up here. There is goblins up here. 99. Oh my goodness. Well, guess I spoke too soon. We got goblin assassins up here. Wow. Alright, this is a first. Man. So I'm going to say one's up here, because this is actually a bend in the road. Maybe, where am I going to put the next one? You know what, I'm going to randomize this a little bit more to make this a little bit more mathematically probable, I will say. So this is going to be my center area. I'm going to roll a 1d6, so 1, 2, 3. So each one of these adjacent hexes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, could be the area the next miniature goes into. Okay, I have a 6. So the miniature would be, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's going to be improbable for the miniature to stand like that. It just doesn't work. So it'd make more sense to pull him up onto the flatter area of the terrain and face him towards the area right here. Okay, so let's do that for here as well. This being my center point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. So that's going to put him right up over here. Boom. And let's just say this is the center point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I can't use 6. I would have to re-roll on a 6 because I'd be covering a miniature that's already there. So I have a 5, so that'll work. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can have this area right here. Boom. Alright. So those look pretty well spaced, I'm going to say. And this is going to pose me with some complications. It really is. Okay. So, first things first, what I want to do, the Goblin's defense rating is a 14 because of their skin. So, thinking about that, that would mean I could use the baseline value of 12 if I wanted to, and then looking at the difficulty ratings, right? Make a decision. I'm coming up to this rocky outcropping. I got my short bow drawn. I got an arrow knocked. Have I moved stealthily enough up into this area to where my presence is known, or have I gone undetected? That's the first thing I want to answer. That's the first thing I want to get out of the way. And I'm going to roll a 20-sider. Now, the good thing is I get to add my agility bonus into that, which is going to be a 2. So let's see. And I'm going to say my agility, my difficulty number to hit this is going to be a 14 for me to go undetected and be able to see these assassins hanging out. Okay, I've rolled an 11. My agility is a 2. No. So, before I realized it, the assassins had already seen my presence, seen me moving into their area. And this poses a really big question. That question being, let's see how they are going to react to my presence. Now, the cool thing about this Game Master screen is it has a reaction chart on it. And that reaction chart, which is if you roll 2d6, on a 2 through 3, they're going to go in total kill mode. 4 through 6, they're going to be angered. They're not happy that my character's there. On a 7 through 8, they're going to be indifferent. They're not going to know what to think about it. They're going to be like, yeah, look at this dumbass. And a 9 through 10, they're going to be almost friendly. So, yeah, as friendly as Goblin assassins can get. And then 11 through 12, they're going to be helpful. So, well, let's see how this is going to go. Let's see how this reaction table rolls and what we're going to get out of this. So I'm going to roll 2d6. Got a 4. Ooh, they're angered. They're not too happy to see me. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use on the violence part of the table here. You can see over here in this corner, this is who goes first, and it wants you to roll a d6. So let me adjust that a little bit. Go. I got a 5. I have a 5. So that would be the PCs. So believe it or not, by time he's seen where these Goblin assassins were hanging out, and he's like, woo, he quickly realized he just basically walked into their area, and he is quickly outnumbered. Okay. So I gotta, dude, there's some problems here that I'm gonna run into. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I think my best recourse here would be to try to fire an arrow at this one down here and then retreat back towards my comrades and be like, oh shit, we need to get ready for a battle, and then change my weapon out to my sword. I think that would be my best effort of what I should do. So, their defense rating, let's take a look. The defense rating of a Goblin is a 14, so my target number is going to be a 14 to hit them. And so my mini is going to turn this way. I'm going to fire an arrow. I rolled a 16, so I don't even have to add my bonuses. I have hit. So now my arrow is going to do 1d4 plus 2 damage. So 5 points. Okay. They have 5 points. They have 6 hit points, which means this guy is severely, severely wounded. He took an arrow right to the chest. So I'll put my red 6-sider on there so I'll know he's wounded and how many life points he has left. Okay. So, with that, he is going to back up out of the area. 5. This way. Move him about 10 feet from his area, and he's screaming his head off, hey, trouble's coming, get ready for battle. Okay. Now, next in the initiative order will be Brent Skull Splitter, which is my sorcerer right here. So my last game session, he rolled a 1, and what that means is he charges a magical a lightning enchantment rune for his staff, but he has to charge it every day, and he can use his magic and be able to fire a lightning bolt from his staff. Now, I rolled a 1 in my last game session, which means everything went awry. He got a real bad headache. And now, what I have to find out is what's going to happen as a result of this ruin backfiring, this magic backfiring. And, okay, so this is all getting ready to collide. Okay, so I got to go to the tables of, yeah, Arcanist, basically whoopsies here, and see what happens to him. So I got to roll a d20, and it's going to give me a narrative as to what my sorcerer is getting ready to experience here. So, 16. The power works, but fate or a demonic force perverts its effects to your precise disadvantage. Okay. Okay. So, this is what I'm going to do for him. So, the spell didn't go off, but he can definitely feel he has a dark presence trying to invade his mind, if you will. And he has to do a save. So, his save, I'm going to say 14. That's going to be basically the number I'm going to use for the majority of the things here. For the saves will be a 14. So let's see how he comes in. Now his presence is a 15, so he gets a +2 to his roll. Oh, rolled a 17. Okay. So I have made the save. Mentally, I won the battle and realized the demonic force and been like, oh, okay. I see how this is going here. And he can't really see it, but as a result of that save, I can cast spells again. So I look at my spells, I look at my presence, which is a 15, and I'm going to roll a 1d8, and this will tell me how many spells I can get. 4. Okay, so 19. That's yeah. I can cast a lot. I have fought off that demonic presence around me, and I am ready to lay waste to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cast. Begin the casting of the spell to re-enchant my staff. So, with that, I have to roll a 12 on a 1d20 to make sure everything is going kosher. Okay, and I get +2 for my presence. A 15. Okay, everything is going very well. The ruin glows again, a bright blue. Kind of like, think of a lightsaber, if you will, almost like over the the staff. And yeah, things are going good. That's going to be his turn. That's enough of a struggle for anybody. Okay, Ilana, she has a shepherd's crook mace made of human bone. Doesn't that sound nice? Oh yeah, and she's got this weird fetish. She likes collecting teeth and making weird necklaces out of them. So, there's something else that was unique about using the randomized tables to build a character. So every time she has a critical hit and just completely annihilates something, I have to roll a save on her presence. And if I fail, she stops in the middle of battle and everything, just mesmerized by a pile of teeth, and starts picking them up. And so it's weird quirks that they add into this game that makes it so unique. Okay, she's going to move up 5, 10, 15. This way, she's figuring out what's going on. He's running back, screaming like a fool, putting his bow away, drawing his sword out like, we're gonna die! We're gonna die! Okay, so now it's the Goblin's turn. So from the Goblin's perspective, they just see an arrow boom, right through their comrade's chest. As he's falling backwards onto the ground, trying to snap this arrow shaft out of his chest. Meanwhile, he's just hacking and coughing up blood. I think the other three are going to go into attack mode. How could they not? But let's see. Let's leave that to the dice, see how things work with them. And I'm going to leave that up to a morale. I'm going to see, witnessing this, how do these goblin assassins, how does their morale affect them? And their morale for any goblin is a 7. So 7 for this one. He's a little shaken, but he's not going anywhere. He's going to do something about it. Let's go for this guy right here. A 10. He ain't going anywhere. He's looking at the perfect kill spot. A 5. This guy's far enough out. He's just like, yeah, fuck these guys. I'm out of here. And he's going to just retreat off the game board. Okay. Now, this guy will go last. He's spitting up blood. He took 5 points of damage, and he's only got 6 life points, so he's hurting. Okay, so everything I move on the board, every model piece, I should say, and I forgot to mention this for movement, is 30 feet. Each hex representing 5 feet. So everything's going to move 30 feet. So he's going to go 5, 10, 15. Let's see. That'll be half of his movement, so he'll be unable to make an attack. But it would make for an interesting encounter, now wouldn't it? What the hell? So I'll move him up here. He's not going to be doing anything more than that. But this should be rather interesting next round. Okay, same thing with him. He's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'll move him here. 30. So these two guys are storming in on the party. This guy right here. Okay, so he's lost 5 life points of damage. He's taken a grievous wound. Let's see if he can even do a save to get up to attack, or if he's just going to lie there and bleed. And I'm going to say a 14. I think that's fair. That's what my characters use for most difficulty classes, so it should be the same for them. Let's see. A 3. He's seeing his comrades leaving, heading towards him. He's like, just coughing up more blood. Okay. Now, let's roll and see who goes first. Enemies or the PCs, and that's going to be a D6. Four. Ooh, that will definitely put it into the PCs. Okay, so fresh round to go around. Everybody is ready to do their thing. He came back and he already has his sword drawn. He had put his bow away. He moved back. He made an attack with the bow, moved back 5 feet. And I'll say, for the sake, just to make the simplicity, we're going to take the movement away from this model. And I'm going to say he turns, and he's going to make an attack with his sword. He's Goblin is adjacent to him. He's running in after him. And let's go from there. Okay. So he's using the Zweihander. Ooh, 14. And with my strength bonus, that is a +3. So I don't even need to add the bonus. I have swung at this Goblin Assassin trash, and I get to do my damage a 1d10 +3. So let's see how it works out for Mr. Goblin here. 2 + 3 is 5. That's a pretty grievous wound. He's still alive, but he is severely wounded. No, I got 2 the goblins that are basically circling, the tunnel of light to the afterlife here. Okay, so now the next one in the initiative order is going to be Brent Skull Splitter. And Glint just looks over the corner of his eye and he sees what's going down with this goblin infestation and just moves towards them with the staff just crackling of the electrical energy. And I'm going to swap spots like that. And can't really... I'm going to keep him here. I'm going to say he just walks up, he sees this goblin doubled over with a large slashing wound that he's received from him, and he's just going to swing the staff right into his skull. Let's see if that works well. Oh, not really. Rolled a 4. I'm not going to hit. So, yeah, the sorcerer didn't do too well. Maybe he's walking up and he tripped over his own robe and anyways, last but not least, I have Ilona David here. So she's going to I think, let's see here, I can go 5, 10, 15. Yeah, I can do that. I can make boom. No, she's using a shepherd's crook, and it's made of human bone. I think I already said that. But 11, 12, nope, not enough to hit the target number. Defense rating of 14. Okay. So now everybody's had their turn. It is now the goblin's turn. Now, the goblin here, I'm going to check him last, the guy with the arrow. I'm going to do his attack first, followed by him, and then him. So his attack first will be on my guy here, Lygan, and let's see how that works out. So Lygan's defense rating is a 15. Let's see what they get. Ooh, a 12. So the goblin did pretty good, but not good enough to hit his defense rating. Okay, this guy right here, he was able to evade the attack from the sorcerer, which means he still probably has a little bit of life left. His adrenaline just surged, and he's ready for the final fight. He rolls a 20. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at my chart here. So, Goblin Assassin, 1d8 plus 2. So, times 2 damage, enemy armor reduced 1 tier. Okay, so that's going to reduce my armor by 1 tier. So he does have a leather armor that gives him a a +2 to his defense rating, which brings his defense rating to a 14. But he's going to lose 2 of that, which is going to take him to a 12. So with that in mind, 20 has been rolled, which means it's going to do a 2 times the damage. So let's see what the damage is to begin with. And the damage die is a 1d8 plus 2. This could be just completely very, how do I put this, humbling. Okay, 2. So 4 points of damage to my sorcerer. So he has a total of 28 hit points. So he's at 24 now. May not seem like much, but yeah, the Goblin got me. He definitely got me. He was able to evade the attack and come in with his dagger and go right into the sorcerer. Get a little stab there. Alright, this guy. Let's see if he can pass the saving roll again. And that's going to be 14 for him to be able to get up to his feet, move, and carry out an attack. He rolled a 10. No. Yeah, he's just going to be probably waiting there till somebody kills him. Okay. So now, that's the enemy's turn. That round is over. I'm going to roll a d6 again to see who goes first this round. And it's a 4. It's a PC's again. Great. Let's start with Bryn's Skull Splitter. The magic user that just got the dagger stabbed into him from this Goblin Assassin. I want to see what he's going to do on this round. And hopefully he just completely freaking levels him. Okay, so he is using a staff to hit him, which means he gets to use his strength bonus, which is a +3. So let's roll that. We got a 19. Okay, yeah, he's completely devastated him. I'm just going to go straight damage, which his staff does a 1d4 plus 3, but his weapon enchantment, as to which I have just re-upped that, which has got 15 charges, we'll say 14 now, offers D2 Lightning Bolt, which deals 1d6 damage. So, I'm going to do 1d4 plus 1d6 damage, adding my attribute bonuses to that as well, and coming up with the final score. He's pretty damn devastating. I will tell you what. When Sorcerer does hit, he is very devastating. Okay. So 4 is the die roll. Oh, wait a minute. I messed up. 4 is the die roll. We're going to remember that. That Goblin had a critical. I shouldn't have taken 4 hit points. I should have taken 12. I just remembered that. So that's going to leave me with 14. Okay. Yeah, he's hurt. He's grievously hurt. But he does do damage with the staff. So he's doing 4 plus the strength, 5, 6, 7, and then his presence for the spell enchantment, which is another 2, which will be a complete grand total of basically 9 points of damage, with the staff connecting just and the lightning just frying the brain of this thing. He was knocking on death's doorstep anyways, but the sorcerer just made sure he was completely out of his misery. Okay. So, I have to set that mini aside because that means I am going to have to roll on the corpse plundering table later, and I just collect the minis and set them off to the side. The guys that lose their morale just go back into the deployment pile and get anything. So there we go. The assassin is over there. The one that got away is over here in the deployment pile. Okay. Now, that would go to my mercenary right here with his sword drawn. He's going to... Lygan is going to attack the goblin he is currently engaged with. And let's see how this turns out. He's going to get a +3 to his roll. Well, an 8's not going to do it. So, close but no cigar. Wah, 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 wah. Now it's going to go to last character here, Elena Deru. She's using her shepherd's crook, and she's going to get a +1 for a strength bonus. Ooh, rolls a 7, 8. Nope. That assassin goblin is quick. He has evaded 2 of my characters so far. Okay. Now it's the goblin's turn. Let's see who the goblin's going to attack. He's engaged with my character here, but she also tried to take a swing too. The higher the probability of who he's going to attack will be him, but the goblin could throw a curveball and decide to attack the other character as well. How I settle that is with a simple d6. 1 through 3, he will be going after this character. 4 through 6, he will be going after this character. And when you use miniatures like this, if you have more miniatures, just increase the die size for dividing up where the attack is going to go. So, let's see. Let's roll the d6 and roll a 4. Okay, so we went to the higher probability, which is this character right here. Now, Lygan has a defense rating of 15. He's rolled a 4. Yeah, he found his armor quite impenetrable. Alrighty. Now, that round is completely over. This guy failed his save yet again, and it's going to be time to roll a d6 for a new round to see who goes first. Okay, 2. It's going to be the goblin side. So this guy is going to get another attack. Let's see. Last round he was attacking him. I'm just going to follow that up again. And he's going to roll. He rolled a 7. He misses. And now I'm going to go top of the batting order. I'm going to go back to Brent's Skull Splitter right here. I think Brink is going to just step right in behind him. As a matter of fact, I could roll this attack against my agility. My agility being a +2. Now, and I also have I can only choose one. Strength, which give me a +3, which, yeah, probably, or agility +2, because I am sneaking up behind him. He's engaged with battle here, so I would be doing a sucker punch, so to speak. I could use my agility to completely sneak up on him, but you know what? I think at this point, the gig is up. The wizard's just going to go in with his staff, just throwing lightning bolts and death. Alright. He's going to get a +3 to his attack. Oh, man. He gets a 7. Just a 7. He misses again. Bummer. Alright. So now, it's going to be my mercenaries, or Lygan, his turn to attack the goblin. He rolls a 20. Okay. So, the goblin's defense rating is automatically lowered by 1 tier or 2 points, which take him down to a 12, and he's going to take a total of 2 times the damage that I roll. Now the damage roll is going to be a 1d10 +3. So that's going to be 4, 8. So that's going to be a total of 8 points of damage he's going to do to this Goblin Assassin. Goblin has 6 hit points. So it's just a no-brainer. I mean, it's just his head has been lopped off with a two-handed sword. Just all right. Now that leaves my cleric right here last, and I'm gonna have. Why not? Might as well just do a mercy kill. I'm gonna say 5, 10. Walks right up. Yeah, I'm gonna say the defense rating. It still has its skin. Things spinning to life, death. I'm gonna give it a -2 modifier for the fact that it's failed its save roll the last 2 rounds. It's just a completely grievous, incapacitating wound. So I'm gonna say -2 the agility. Instead of a 14, I'm gonna say they're 13. So let's see how well she does. 10 +1 to her strength will be an 11. So no, she did not do that well at all, which is going to take me into the next round. So this is how it should be handled. She was unable to kill this thing. Did it have I don't know, an adrenaline spike it's running on right now, and it was able to, you know, muster up its final energy to at least try to take out one more enemy before it, you know, leaves this world? I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out what's going to happen with that. So it's failed 2 saves at a 14. I'm going to say at this point it would have to roll a 16 and or better to be able to make it save. And then after this, I mean, damn. A 4. Okay. Yeah, it completely bombed its fucking saving throw. It is not moving. It's just lying there existing, yet nobody can hit it. Okay. Well, back over to the players. I'm just gonna finish him off. Move him over here and just finish him off. 18 plus 3. I need I say more. 1d10 plus 3. That's 5. I mean, he just walks up and he's just like, off of this head it goes. Alright. So, that's done. I have a total of 3 minis right here that I'm going to have to roll on the treasure table for. And this is going to tell me what I pick up. And I like to do this as I do the encounters rather than waiting, you know, to the end of the scenario. Then you're just sitting there rolling dice after a while, and you get to a point where you're just like, screw it. This is much easier because I can make the decision right then and there if it's something I want. And sometimes on the table you get just useless shit that you don't want, but every once in a while you do get something good. Alright, so let's roll on the table. And for that I'm going to have to go back to the main core rule book. And that is to the corpse plundering chart, and that is a D66. So if you are unfamiliar with what that means, you're going to use 2d6. I decided to have 2 different colors. This one will represent my 10s, while this one will represent my 1s. Okay, 23%. Let's see what 23 is. Bag of angry venomous moths. Test toughness, defense rating 6, or die. Whew. Okay, so first things first, let's decide who would be doing the corpse plundering out of all of them. The cleric, the sorcerer, or the mercenary. Well, both the sorcerer and the mercenary, both going to be driven by a certain, I'm going to say, lust for money, right? So let's narrow it down to them two. So I'm going to roll a d6. On a 1 through 3, it will be my sorcerer. On a 4 through 6, it will be the mercenary. It's a 3, so it'll be the sorcerer. So the sorcerer sees this bag and he picks it up, and this is how I like to play this out. So he has found it. Now, my sorcerer, he has a presence of 15, which gives him a +2. So looking at this bag, I'm going to say to be reasonable, the difficulty rating for him to be just completely oblivious and go, oh, hey, what's in this bag? Ah! He's going to look at it suspiciously, and perhaps he's going to take his staff and nudge it on the ground to see what is in there. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say the difficulty rating will be a 14 for that, but I get a +2 to my presence will bring it down to a 12. So I'm going to have to roll a 12 or better. And I hope I do, because I really don't want to lose my character. Oh my god. He rolled a 2, +2 is 4. Yes, my sorcerer, as he moved this bag with his staff, the bag opened up and these strange looking luminescent balls came flying out of the bag and soon spiraled around his head, and what could be seen as falling luminescent type of little sparkles, if you will, into the air around his head, in which he inhaled. And then at that point, he died. Oh boy, this ain't good. This ain't good. I really like that sorcerer too. Oh man. That is totally crazy. Now, I wonder if my sorcerer is going to die. How could I pull this off, keep my sorcerer, but have him incapacitated where he has to heal? Well, one way I could do that is by rolling a toughness save. Now, a toughness save, he does get a +3 to that, and let's say it's a 14 difficulty modifier. I get a +3 to the roll. Okay, roll a 12, that'd be 15. That'd be more than enough. He is, as the maws surround his head and they, at that point he inhales the dust that these maws are dropping. He just falls, keels over, what appears to be dead. He is knocked out, I'm going to say depleted of all of his hit points to 1. He is at 1 hit point, and he is just completely incapacitated, freaking comatose right now. Alright. Now there's a way I can save my character, and I don't know if I really want to just lose my character to that. Can I do a save and see if he makes it? So there's going to be a chance he may not make it, because I got to roll another save to see if he actually begins to recover from his wound or if he's going to perish. So that's yet to be seen. It is yet to be seen. Okay, so fuck. Let's see. That's this marker down. I still have to make it to this marker. What do I do at this point? one of my priority members is down. And without my sorcerer, I'll be honest with you, that's going to make for a tough battle, especially with an end boss. And I don't know if I want to do that, because let's face it, this is my cleric, and it's a first entry level character. My other two have been improved with their last couple of sessions I played with them, but she hasn't. So that essentially leads me with just my main character to go in here and hit all three of these marker points, or I could figure something else out that I could use in the story dialogue of the RPG, right? I could retreat them, and we can see if the weather is improved. If it has, they could have left the area, or perhaps they just decided to hunker down in one of the quiet, dark, rolling hill valley areas and just weather the storm over. We could go that route too. I'm not sure. I'd have to see how I want to do that. That, in order to preserve my sorcerer, that would probably be the best in my interest to do. It's probably what I absolutely should do. So I think with this, right here, this scenario right here, I'm going to have both of my characters scoop up my sorcerer, and they're going to carry him and get the hell out of this area and retreat back to an area they've already cleared out, they're familiar with, and allow him to recover, allow him to regain some strength, if you will, and see if he makes that save. Well, that'll be for a different game session for me. That's going to extend this map out quite a bit longer than what I, really anticipated. But with that being said, my friends, I didn't expect my session to go this way. I really didn't. I didn't expect to lose my sorcerer like that, and not so early in the scenario, so to speak. That was very early. But I'm glad you got to see the example of why I use 3D terrain with my RPG. And when you understand that an RPG game, this was its origin. This was its roots right here. Miniature, skirmish type of game systems played on a three-dimensional board, matched with RPG elements, with that aspect to give you that extra amount of variability, to where the story doesn't have to end here, the session does not have to end here, but yet it can carry on for another session and pick up, evolving a story as it goes. So, my friends, hope this sums things up for you. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed the video. And one thing I want to point out and show to you is, if you see what I have here, it may look very over the top and expensive. Well, some of the things when I acquired them at the time were, for sale on the market, and they were relatively cheap. Like the tree sets that were $20. You go to try to get these today, they're considerably more expensive. But a lot of the stuff you see here, I make myself and save me a lot of money. It's easily made out of foam. And if you guys would like to learn how to make these, let me know. I can do a video on them, show you how I make these and how you can make these really quick, easy, and cheap. Alright, my friends, with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video off here, and that'll be Artichoke Dip signing off.